and photographers that are selling on our platform. And that means 13,000 individual artists and photographers, individual art and photography businesses that we study very closely, especially the really successful ones. And we have a very good beat on what it takes to run a successful art business in today's day and age. And I think we might already be over or close, but we've been reviewed, I think, a little bit over 2,000 times on Trustpilot, Google, and Facebook. So we're very, very pleased with all of that. So the agenda for today's session, I'm going to start out talking about how to start an art business today and what business models work, and I'm going to give it some real numbers and some real teeth. I think this is a subject that's just not covered enough, that not enough people talk about, especially not the nuts and bolts of the numbers. So we're going to start off with there. Um, and then we're going to move to why you should start an art business. And we have a segment from our CEO, Nick, that he likes to call the asymmetry of an art business. And it sort of gives you the rationale of like, okay, I'm thinking about starting an art business. Why would I do that? What would it look like? What are the potential upsides, which I don't think enough people cover at all. So that'll be really powerful. After that, after next time, I'm going to come back and finish talking a little bit about pricing and demystifying that subject a little bit, how to price your art, how to approach that, how to think about that, when to raise them, when to lower them, all of those things, because that is a terrifying subject for most people. Don't worry. There's a simple way to approach it in an effective way. Then we're going to finish things up with a behind the scenes look at our product, show you all the bells and whistles and pricing, etc. And along the way, okay, because we want to make this thing fun and enjoy ourselves, we're going to be giving away some fun free prizes that just for registering, you guys are eligible to win. And so we've got this special spinning wheel thing that we're going to use. It could be kind of fun. And then we're also going to give away a free gold membership to Art Storefronts. That will take place at the very end of the session. So if you want to stay for the very end, you certainly should, because that's when we're going to announce the winner to that. And in terms of programming notes, if you look at the bottom of your Zoom window, you know, there is a chat button, and that pops out a little chat box. And as the thing is rolling along, you know, you're able to throw questions in there. My colleagues are in here so they can answer things for you as we're sort of rolling along. And if I can answer your question quickly, I will certainly do so, or we can save them for the Q&A at the very end of it. And also, I'm going to mention a whole bunch of this, that, the others, resources, blog posts, PDFs, podcast. Don't feel like you need to take notes about any of that. I have all of your guys' email addresses because you registered for this, so I'm going to be sending you that, as well as a replay to the entire thing after the fact, so you can just sit there and relax and listen, and hopefully learn some cool stuff. And that is the game's plan for today's session. So, Juan, we're recording. We're good to go on that front?
Yep.
Okay, wonderful. I'm going to go ahead and kick things off and get things started right away. So, I imagine most of you guys that are on here, you know, you're looking at your art business right now, and you'd like to see it doing more, right? You'd like to see it doing better. You instinctively know that your work is great, that you're talented, you have an amazing product, and if you could just get it in front of enough eyeballs, you know that it'll sell. So you just need to figure out how that might work and how you might go about that, right? And inevitably that leads to questions of like, what is the business model that works to sell art or photography in today's day and age, right? In this digital age that we live in 2024. And this is one of those things that nobody talks about. And I love getting into the finer details on it. I think is so important. And let's say that there are three ways to make it as a successful artist or photographer in today's day and age. Number one, okay, through the gallery model. Secretly, every single solitary person on this call, if they could just be in the gallery model in which someone would do everything, they just create the work and the gallery takes care of everything else, all the sales, all the marketing, all the everything, you just get to create. If that sounds too good to be true, it's because it probably is, right? If it sounds like a fairy tale, it probably is. Let's talk about the reality of the gallery model. And I should preface this by saying I'm not anti-gallery in the slightest, okay? My job is to make sure my customers can take their creative talents and have a business from it. So I have never met a revenue source I don't like, period, as long as it's legal. So understand that's my position when I approach the gallery model. Okay. Let's give it some real teeth, the gallery model, okay? Let's say that you are an artist or a photographer and you are selling $100,000 a year in a gallery, okay? The gallery is going to take 50% of that. So at the end of the day, you are now left with $50,000. That $50,000, you are then going to have to subtract your expenses, your material. This could be your canvas, your paints, your studio rent. If you're a photographer, all your photographic equipment, all your travel that you're going to get those shots. And so at the end of the day, even selling $100,000 a year in a gallery doesn't really account to a living wage, right? And selling $100,000 a year in a gallery is doing extremely well in a gallery. And if that was it, I'd be okay with it. But that's not the problem. The problem is in the gallery model, and you could also substitute in here the marketplace model, right? Where you upload your work to one of these marketplaces. Um, they don't tell you who's purchasing your work. So you have no idea who's purchased your work. When you have no idea who's purchased your work, you do not have the ability to understand who your collectors are or to have buyers mature into collectors. And I'm going to get this book because it's really important. I borrowed this concept from Weiland. Weiland is the whale guy. Most people would say he's the best-selling artist in the United States. Apparently, it's not even close. He's doing about $50 million a year. The book is entitled Don't Be a Starving Artist. I think every single solitary one of you should buy it, even the people that don't like reading. Why? Number one, it's really, really thin. Two, the guy's selling $50 million worth of art a year. And three, in this book, he goes into some detail about what you have to buy it from his website. By the way, it's not available on Amazon because I think he donates all the proceeds. But anyway, and don't worry, I'll send you a link to it after the fact. But in the book, Weiland talks about what constitutes a collector to him. He defines a collector as someone that purchases an upwards of 7+ pieces of work from him over the course of a lifetime. So Weiland keeps creating his art. These people keep coming back and buying again and again and again. Earlier in my talk, I alluded to the fact that this is our 10th year in business. We have a little bit over 13,000 customers. I read that Weiland book like 7 years ago, and I was like, oh, that makes so much sense to me. Since then, I've got to study the data in depth about my customers. And let me tell you, art and photography is a niche in which collectors are a phenomenon and a thing. And this is a huge blessing for everyone that is in this business because these people will come back and keep buying and buying and buying. They represent collectors, the lifeblood of any art or photography business. They represent the stability to any art or photography business because these folks go along for the ride with you. And as long as you keep creating, they keep buying. If you do not have any idea who these folks are because you're selling exclusively through a gallery or you're selling exclusively through a marketplace, then you have no way to know who they are. They're never going to be able to come back to you. They're going to go to the gallery. They're going to go to somewhere else. And so if you can't maintain the relationship with them and foster it and take care of them, you've got nothing. You're left with nothing. And, I used to run sessions like these 3 days a week, okay? And where this was like the most profound to me was right when COVID hit, okay? Right when COVID hit, and we're all in lockdown and everything else. Attendance on these things went through the roof, obviously, because everyone, was at home. We had nowhere to go. In the sheer number of like successful artists that were selling through galleries that showed up on these sessions going, Patrick, help. What can I do? All of my work is in the gallery. And I had a regular steady paycheck coming in, and now I've got nothing. I've got no email addresses. I've got no social media following the gallery. It was taking help. What can I do? In some cases, like the work was like locked in the gallery and embargoed. And it was so hard to give advice then, but the lesson was so profound. Is like, you can't have all of your eggs in the gallery basket. And to add insult to injury on galleries, I'm not anti-gallery. Okay, I think it's a tenant sharecropper relationship, but if it's bringing you a ton of money, I'm okay with it. But let's just say, to make the picture a little bit rosier as I finish on galleries, let's say you're selling in galleries and you're doing $300,000 a year. Okay, you're doing incredibly well. And so 50% haircut, 150 minus your expenses, 120, 130. That's a great wage. You're doing great, right? The number of artists and photographers in the United States that are doing that represents less than 0.1% of artists and photographers trying to sell their work. It's a little bit like the folks that are doing that well in galleries in the United States. Is a little bit like the number of people that you know that play a sport versus the number of professional athletes that you know. That is what the numbers are to get to an incredible and a sustainable level in the gallery. And no one ever talks about that, right? Like, it is just not a sustainable model in which you are going to be able to support yourself and build a super healthy business. And I think that needs to be talked about, and it's not talked about enough. And again, I'm not anti-gallery, but it's important to understand like what the options are out there and not to be putting all our hope in this one basket that it's going to get there. And also, like, after COVID, so many of the galleries closed that the ones that are open are now sort of extracting even rougher terms out of the artists and photographers. That's number one. And then number two, because they have such a high supply of artists and photographers that want in, they're constantly changing it up. So you just have no guarantee you're going to be in there. So gallery model, way number one. Okay. Way number two, what I like to call becoming a road warrior. Okay. I love this business model. I think this business model absolutely works. I have a tremendous amount of artists that are on our platform that have leveraged this model for years in the past and done incredibly well. It is doing the show and fair circuit. Okay. Now, there are a number of these things all across this country, all across North America for that matter. And to do it successfully and to really kickstart a business, I mean, you get in what you put out, but let's assume you're doing 20 to 25 to 30 of those a year. So that means you're traveling on weekends. You've got to have the booth. You've got to have all the inventory. You're staying in crappy hotels, eating crappy food, breaking your routine. You're away from your family. You're 8 hours on a Saturday, 8 hours on a Sunday. It is incredibly hard, right? That is a hard thing to do, to go on the show and fair circuit. But because it's so hard, it obviously has high ROI, right? It's an incredible way to get your art in front of so many different buyers. It forces you to merchandise your work, i.e. have it all in your mobile gallery there. It forces you to learn how to negotiate and learn how to price and learn how to actually sell, most of which you are terrified of, right? So there's an incredible amount of awesome things that you can do. And if I was like getting started and, it's like one of those Hollywood scenarios where you can like give advice to your young self. If I was telling young Patrick at 20 to like, okay, you're starting your art business, I would like, look, dude, you don't have a significant other. You don't have a dog. Okay. You're renting an apartment. All right. And you have no commitments. You're doing the road show for the next 5 years, maybe 7 years. Okay. And you don't have to do it for life, but do it for that period of time. You're going to capture so many email addresses, so many new customers that you're going to have a fantastic idea to be able to grow your business. Right. So that's what I would tell my young self. But for the rest of us, it's like, look, we've got commitments, right? It's really, really hard to do. I can't afford to be away from my family. I can't be gone every single solitary weekend, and I totally understand that. But it's important to say it is an extremely valuable business model, okay? Especially when you know what to do with those things. And I have an insane guide, okay, which is the ultimate guide to shows and fairs. I don't call things ultimate half-heartedly. This post will take you like an hour to read. I teach you every single solitary thing there is to do, from before you go to the show, what to do during the show, how to negotiate, how to capture emails. I give you actual photos of my customer's booth. I'm going to send that to you after the fact. It's a fantastic way to do things, okay? And I should say too, by no means are any of these things exclusive, right? Like how you make it as an artist or a photographer can be any blend of anything, and everyone takes a different path. But if it's going to be anything gallery, like it needs to be a very small percentage. If it's going to be anything show and fair, even if you can only do 2 or 3 of those a year, fantastic to help grow an art of photography business. So I constantly encourage my customers to do them. Like even just doing one is just such an eye opener. Anyway, what is the third way? That's the second way. What is the third way? The third way is the model that we advocate, right? Which is selling direct from your own website that you own. You know everyone that is purchasing your work, okay? You maintain total control over absolutely everything. You're not paying some 50% haircut on a sale, and you can sell night and day to anyone in the world at any point in time. That sounds amazing, right? It is amazing. Is there a rub? Yes, there is. You have to get people to come to that website, which is the hard part, right? So that's essentially, why we exist as a business. But the direct model is incredible. It is, the model du jour, right? Like what everyone talks about with the creator economy in today's day and age, and how you can reach all of these people. When I was coming up in my day and age, pre-internet for the most part, we were all geographically limited to where we lived, right? That was what we could reach. That was what we could do. Then along came the internet, and that was the first level up. And then along came this thing, and the fact that everyone is glued to this thing all day long, which means any of you can get anyone's attention at any point in time on this thing if you just learn how to do it, right? So you learn how to market, and you have a business where you own everything. No one can ever take anything away. God forbid, whatever the second pandemic that comes down the damn pikes, it's not going to slow you down one iota, because you have your own website, you have your own email list, you have some knowledge of marketing, you have some following, right? You're building your own list of collectors. There's a million different ways why I could argue that the selling direct, owning your own website, owning your own business makes the most sense. And I'll get into that in a second. Okay. That's the three business models that I think you need to focus on today. All right. Number two is the biggest problem every single solitary person on this Zoom has. Okay. The biggest problem every single solitary artist and photographer has, pretty much regardless of size, for the most part. And the number one reason that artists and photographers don't make it in today's day and age, or quit, or don't get out of the hobby zone. You know what it is? You all have a marketing problem. You've always had a marketing problem. That marketing problem is not going away. The reason that almost all of you are here today is not because you can't create incredible work. You've got that covered. You've had that covered for a long time. The reason you're all here today is because you have not solved the marketing problem. Whether or not you know that or not, whether or not that's got you nodding your head or not, is because you haven't clearly articulated the fact that that is your biggest problem. And it's not going away anytime soon. Every single solitary one of you needs attention, needs eyeballs on your art if you want to sell it. If you want to acquire email addresses for the first time, and then acquire a customer for the first time, and then get that customer to come back and purchase again, and then eventually become a collector. All of that comes down to marketing. And what has happened in the art and photography community? And I should say, I've been doing, like I said, these webinars since right around when COVID hit. So how many years? 3 years now. And I run 3 of these a week for the most part. I have talked to so many artists and photographers all over this country and others, every stripe imaginable, every age demographic, every season of life, every niche imaginable. Okay. And what I notice time and time and time and time again is very few artists and photographers ever solve the marketing problem. Do you know what they do? They treat the marketing problem like the New Year's resolution. It's like when you sign up for the gym membership in January, this is going to be my year, First couple of weeks of January, you're going 4 days a week, 5 days a week, you're starting to really feel good. Things get a little bit rough and difficult. March comes around and you haven't been once all month. Rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. It would be totally okay if this was some other business, if instead of being an artist or a photographer, it was like being an accountant or, being a landscape architect or whatever. Because you could say, after you've given it that year, like, hey, I gave it a shot. The business just didn't work for me, right? And you can move on with your life. The other thing that I've learned is that being an artist or a photographer uh, uh, falls victim to the Hotel California problem. What is the Hotel California problem? You can check out anytime you like, but you can never leave. You guys can't turn off the artistic gift. I've seen it so many times. Like, I, I've been on these calls where I've had not one, but two gentlemen, both in their 90s. And I once had the 96-year-old guy tell the 91-year-old guy he was a kid. But the point is that these guys were in their 90s. Michelle gets my humor. I thought that was hilarious when he did that. But these guys were in their 90s and they were asking for advice on how to market and sell their art. And they were dead serious. They sat through the whole entire thing. And one guy, God bless him, I think he even signed up after the fact, and I had to stop that because he had never turned a computer on, and it wasn't going to happen. But what was profound about it is this desire for you guys to be able to sell your art, sell your photography, and have a business is just not going away. It doesn't go away. And why do these people keep showing up in all of these different seasons of life and having given it so many different ways of going, fired so many arrows at the target? And why do they keep missing? And they keep missing because they don't solve the marketing problem, and they don't ever solve the marketing problem consistently. And I think step one, you sort of have to acknowledge that that's the case. And I think this has been the scenario for years and years and years and centuries, you could even argue, i.e., the starving artist problem. But in today's day and age, it's even amplified further, right? Because if you can't figure this out, you can't get attention. You're competing against people that do know how to get attention, and you're not going to go anywhere. And so step one is you need to figure out this is a problem and it's something that you need to solve, okay? And it's going to take some hard work, and it's going to take some effort, and it's going to take some consistency. But once you do, you go from, God, I just don't know why my business isn't growing, or why are things not working for me, or God, I wish I could just be doing a little bit better, to all of a sudden your business is growing. It's growing at a really nice cadence, and things are really moving in the right direction, okay? That's the marketing problem. The third part of my intro talk here that I want to talk about is that no one properly respects the time, right? The time. And, I mentioned the 90-year-olds that were on here, right? Like, even a great deal, and I'm looking at the cameras that are on and guesstimating people's ages here, but understand the perspective of how much time most of you guys have left to still get this right. In most cases, it's decades or several decades or 5+ decades, right? Like, there is a tremendous amount of time to get ready and get this sorted and get it on the right path. And once you have it on the right path, the business just keeps growing and growing and growing and growing because you're doing the things that actually make it grow instead of all the rest of the nonsense that people tell you that's going to make the business grow, which does absolutely nothing. And I think the time horizon argument, not enough people talk about. In the short term, it's ignored because everyone thinks they're due immediate results. Okay. No one is due immediate results. There is no successful artist that that has not suffered for years figuring all of this stuff out. Go ahead and tell me the one that you think it is. I've been waiting years for someone to throw a name in the box and no one ever does. Okay. It takes 5 to 7 years to grow anything of value in today's day and age. Steve Jobs' line, but it's just true. You point to any successful artist or photographer and they've been at it for that long and likely longer, right? And so many today in our, constant dopamine hits, social media, cell phone, hamster wheel world, we think we're entitled to these results in the first 3 months, okay, because we're awesome and we got out of bed in the morning. And when we have that expectation in our mind, we don't gird ourselves up for what we need to do in terms of the suffering that it takes for you to learn the marketing that you need to do, and you quit. And that's the vicious cycle, right? And it happens again and again and again and again, and I just see it constantly again and again and again. Like the vicious cycle of all vicious cycles. You create a body of work, you don't do enough marketing, so you don't get it in front of enough eyeballs to even know if it'll sell. And then some time passes, and then you get bored with that old body of work, and then you go and create a new one. And then the same thing repeats and repeats and repeats. You never get the artwork in front of enough eyeballs to even know if it'll sell. You're doing yourself such a disservice, right? So it hurts you in the short term, right? And then in the long term, nobody realizes, like, hey, how much time do I actually have left to nail this, to get this going really, really well? So those are the 3 things that I like to start things off with on a high level. And those are sort of some of the how to do it in today's day and age. Next, I want to bring our CEO on, and he's recorded this talk, which is really, really good. Oh no, it's not letting me turn my camera on. Hold on. Sorry, guys. It's always some sort of technical issue with Zoom these days. Yeah, obviously you can tell based on that presentation that I'm a little opinionated on how things actually work in today's day and age, but the data is pretty clear, right? The data is pretty clear. I think one of the enjoyable things about the entire situation, though, is social media, okay, which at the end of the day, don't get hung up on social media. It's just how you actively market and get attention for your brand. There's never been a better time to do it. And the reason there's never been a better time to do it is because all of you guys have a niche, right, that you're attempting to sell. And it used to be incumbent upon you, like, let's say every one of you that has a niche, let's say somewhere there is a tribe that likes that niche, right? Maybe you'd paint flowers. Maybe you'd paint Phalaenopsis orchids. Maybe you only paint the white Phalaenopsis orchids. There is a tribe somewhere that loves that work. It used to be incumbent upon you to find out where the heck those people hang out. Where are they hiding? Where do they hang out? Where do they congregate so that I could get their attention and show them my paintings of white Phalaenopsis orchids? Now, with technology and with these algorithms, they know what you've created. They know the people that like what you've created, and they will take what you've created and go and show it to the people that like what you created. Because what that does is that keeps people on their platform for longer, which is the only thing that Facebook cares about. It's the only thing that Instagram cares about. It's the only thing that YouTube cares about. So there really has never been a better time to be an artist, in my estimation. And at least as much as that you can reach the number of people that you can without leaving your house, which certainly did not used to be the case. But it doesn't mean it's easy, right? It certainly doesn't mean it's easy. Okay, there were some questions in the chat, and I know there'll be some other questions too. If you're one of the brave ones that has your camera on, you can just do the old school hand raise. Myself, my colleague will see that. Or if you can see, you can really, don't worry. You can see Rihanna here. She raised her hand digitally speaking. At the bottom of your Zoom window, there's this like way to raise your hand digitally speaking. And what that allows me to do is, hey, like this person raised their hand, I can unmute them next and bring them on. So that's really helpful. If you want to turn your camera on, great. I'd love to see what you look like and talk to you face to face. If you don't want to turn your camera on, you don't have to turn your camera on, okay? I hate being on camera. If this wasn't my job, you'd have no idea what I look like. I have a face for radio, but it is my job. So that's how I approach it. If you're one of the ones that's watching on Facebook or YouTube or Twitter, I can see your comments, and I can certainly answer yours as well. I'm going to kick things off with Rihanna, and then it'll go Shanoa, Kim, Kimberly. And Juan, just keep an eye on them because there's way too many people on today for me to be able to see everyone. Okay, Rihanna, you're up first. Go ahead. You'll need to unmute. Go ahead.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you.
So I'm not an artist at all. So the reason I inquired in the first place, getting, listening to what you're saying in the meeting, my daughter is 10 and she has amazing, I'm not even just saying that because I'm her mom, I swear. Like, she's really good at drawing.
Is there anything better than a mom being an advocate already at 10 years old? God, I love you. That's amazing. It's amazing.
That's what more kids need.
Yes.
I love her.
Yes. I'm affirming you. Great work.
Amazing. I mean, she just needs to get it out there. And that's why it caught my eye on Facebook. And I definitely, I wanted to look into this for her because she could really, I mean, I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm not too privy with the artistry and how the market goes, but I'm sure it could take her places. And
I think if I'm you, and I've been doing this for a long time, I'm going to cut you short, I already know. Find a local fair or show and get all of the stuff that she's created, get in that fair or show, and it could be anything. It could be a farmer's market, it could be a swap meet, it could be like an actual like arts or crafts or fair or show like that, and exhibit and see how she does. That is 100% where I would start, and I wouldn't wait. I would get the thing on the calendar, and you don't need some fancy setup to do it either. I mean, because she's the age that she is, literally everyone is going to stop and talk to her anyway, which will just be an awesome and affirming experience. And then see if the work sells.
True.
Yeah, see if the work sells. Because what I don't know how to navigate, and I was just like thinking that out loud, and I should say, I'm saying this as a father of a 6-year-old and an 8-year-old boy, like. I can't actively recommend she start promoting herself on social media. God, I hate social media. I think it's poisoning the kids' minds.
Me too.
But
she wants to be on Snap, and I'm like, no.
I know.
I want to be all in your business. No.
I know. And it's like a 10 to would I advocate that? Or I'm literally thinking in my head, like, what if that was my kid's deal?
I would post for her. I want her to shine. I know she would shine. Yeah. I have to. I mean, this is her time. Like she's. So I guess to wrap it up, I'm sorry to waste time, but
not at all.
Should I stay for am I in the right area?
Yeah, you're in the right area. Keep tabs on us. Like, you have my email address. It's patrick@artstorefronts.com. Do the show.
Yes, I do.
100% do the show with her. Like, book it immediately. These things exist everywhere all the time. Like, do you live in a big city or no? Are you in the sticks?
I live in it's semi-big, yeah, and I've already looked into a farmer's market show in one of the cities near me, so I'm kind of on the right track.
Yeah, you're 100% on the right track. Do that. Do not worry about anything else. Do that, and then email me and tell me how it went.
Okay, thank you.
And I promise I'll marinate on that too. Guy, it's awesome. Quick tangent, and then I'll get to the rest of the questions. Is like, it breaks my damn heart because especially like the people that are in their like 50s, 60s, 70s come on these calls all the time, and like. They had these great art businesses at one point in time that were thriving for whatever reason, but they didn't, like the way the paradigm was then, maybe it was like the gallery, or maybe they were selling in a hotel, or maybe they were doing shows and fairs. And I'm like, amazing. I can't believe did you keep records? Do you know who purchased your work? And they're like, no. No, I didn't even have any, paper receipts, and I don't have email addresses. I don't have anything. And it's like, okay, well now the rules of the game have changed. You're in your 60s, you have no audience. If you would have just kept your audience, like, you would be in a significant place. And so it's like, you hear somebody that's starting young, and it's usually not 10-year-olds, but like 15, 16, 17, right out of art school. And I'm like, oh man, if I can just get in their heads and set the hooks on like what's important, knowing that you have that much time left, like, it's staggering. Okay, hold on. So I think it's Shanoa. If I mispronounced it, you got to let me know.
It's Chinoa.
Chinoa, great name. Okay, yes. I love it.
I actually found you guys on Facebook and then Google. I've been
Awesome.
revamping my art gallery. I am getting ready to be a travel photographer.
Okay.
So
when you say your art gallery, do you have like a retail space, or are you just talking about your lineup, or what are you talking
about? Well, my lineup, I've been trying to, I did Pixie Set for a long time when I first started my business, and that's been since 2019, 2020.
Okay.
And it wasn't working enough for me. I was doing more client shoots and more than I was just what I wanted to do, because I wasn't selling enough. So I want to kind of step back and see a better way to kind of market my stuff. I've been studying funnels and doing all of the things.
Yeah, those are more often than not like shiny objects, right? Like, everyone loves doing the over indexing on the research and the studying and the reading the books and the formulas, and very little on the actual doing, right? Not you, just generally, right? Like how many times I've done this in my career. The interesting thing about being a photographer is I feel like it's much easier to be a photographer than it is an artist, in the sense that you don't have to have a day job that's outside of the art. Like, you have to do portraits, right? You have to have a service-based portion of the business, but at least that pays the bills and gives you a little air cover to grow the print portion of the business, which is really what you want to be doing all year long, right? So, yeah, there's that. But anyway,
I've recently said no to the day job and just kind of went full force. So it's a whole new avenue for me, but I'm not bringing in the revenue that I want yet. Yes. I'm just trying to figure out the best way to kind of build it and go about it.
Yes. I love the burn the boats approach, but I could just as easily try to be your dad and be like, get a job, right? Yeah. Because what I don't like is the stress of, oh my God, how am I going to pay my bills if I don't get this going? Because in most cases, you're not giving yourself enough time. Now, I know some stories to some people that burned the boats and it worked out, but I know plenty of stories where you burn the boats and it didn't work out, right? And I'm constantly having customers, because I would say 80% of our customer base of the 13,000 have full-time jobs and are part-time artists or photographers, and they want that to change eventually. Then I would say some portion in there are service-based photographers or artists that teach, or photographers that take people into national parks and sell tours and that kind of thing. Like, there's so many different stripes, right, to make the revenue. But my point in all that is, like, it's okay. That's a portion of it. You got to pay your bills, because it does take time to build everything up, Yeah.
But I'm just kind of, it was doing really well at one point, and then I had a few, business growing, learning how to do my own thing. That didn't quite work out. So now I'm kind of rebuilding from that, and I'm trying to work smarter than harder.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of a work in progress, but I mean, it's already been kind of the crash and burn.
Yeah.
So I know what not to do. I'm just trying to find the direction.
Yeah. One other thing I would say about you guys that are photographers that have like a service portion of your business, most artists, most photographers fall into the trap that they think an art sale is just about their work and nothing else. It's just about whatever the work is, whatever the subject matter is. And that's just not how art sells. Art is 50-50. It's 50% the subject matter and the quality of the art, and then it's 50% you, the artist. What kind of person are you? Are you a cat person, a dog person? Do you like drinking? Are you a teetotaler? Do you paddle kayaks? Cook, garden, like playing golf? Like, people get bonded to artists and who they are and say, oh my gosh, I have these things in common with somebody. Now, why am I telling you this? Service-based photographers, by delivering a great product, form really valuable relationships with other people, okay? And when you have those bonds and you let those people know you sell fine art, they're going to purchase because they already like you, right? So it's sort of a way to acquire customers as time goes along that you're eventually going to sell your fine art to, if you just let them know, hey, by the way, I also sell fine art, right? Like, one of my best friend's wife is our local resident Christmas card / holiday photo / you just had a newborn photo, and she does all of that. And I'm like, Jess, her name is Jess. I'm like, Jess, why the hell are you not letting any of these people know you're selling fine art? Like, you are leaving so much money on the table. They would all buy it from you. No one wants to go online and like, they want to buy from someone they know, like, and trust. So let them know, right? So understand, like, doing that service portion of the business, especially if you maintain those contacts and you market to them somewhat, you know, you're building customers for your art business too. And so that's a really, really important thing to understand. Yeah.
So I was kind of on the right track. I'm already doing like local shows and farmers markets and stuff like that. Is there anything else that you could?
Yeah, well, one for all of you guys doing local shows, I have the ultimate guide that is quite literally called the Ultimate Guide, and it's insane. Juan's going to get, I'm going to email it to all you guys after the fact anyway, but Juan's going to go get a link and throw it in the chat, but it's the ultimate guide for fairs and shows. All the things that you think you probably have no idea. Here it is right here. Juan just sent it. This thing is robust, okay? Click on this if you have any intention of ever doing a show or fair ever in your life. I'm telling you, it's free and it's amazing. And I give you like the real shots of how I tell my customers to do this, and it'll completely fundamentally change the game. So you're on the right path. Just, I don't want you stressed, right? I don't want you pulling your hair out of your head every morning to make ends meet. Like, you know, it's okay to give yourself the time, and like, you know, steady regular income is going to help the creative side of you get to a place much quicker, in my opinion. Yeah.
I've got like I've got 2 other like branches to my business. So that's helping revenue wise. I just want to build this more because I already do like therapies and stuff like that. And that's kind of what the why is. I want to help people heal through, you know, therapy and art and things like that. I just wanted to continue to build that.
Love it. Keep rolling. Keep rolling.
Thank you so much.
Yep, my pleasure. Thank you. Okay, so I have 2 more, and then I'm going to get to Rebecca, Kim. Well, I guess Kim's already on the list. Kim next, then Kimberly Moore, then Rebecca, then Stephen. So Kim, you're up next. Go ahead, Kim.
Hi there.
Hi.
Yeah, so I'm one of the 50-something, let me start my video here, artists that you were referring to that's been there, done that with pretty much everything you've described. And I'm not one of the ones that has not collected my names of clients. I've done that all along from the very beginning.
Good
and
on you.
I have a very avid following. But what I've found in the last few years is, despite having revamped an expensive website and having prints for sale and trying different marketing and newsletters and reaching out to them all. I have 6,200 followers on Facebook and such, but I haven't been finding people are buying a lot, hardly at all actually, prints. And so up until now, I didn't know there was a service that offered fulfillment like this. I had a site on Pixels Fine Art America that did some of that kind of thing, but I didn't want to direct my collectors to
absolutely not. You'll lose them.
An off-site, you know, somewhere other than my own platform. But so I found a company that will print on demand, but I had to create my own website, and I don't know with the pricing and such whether that was the best plan, but it was the only one I knew about. So today I found your site. And I'm very interested, but I've spent all this money and time on this website that I created, so I wanted to find out how
that whole thing works.
Tap into what you're offering, and I'm very excited about your marketing help because I've tried so many things and I'm really at a loss with the internet. And I think
I know they're constantly moving the goalposts.
Very intriguing.
Yeah, it's funny because thankfully I don't like work in the sales department in this company. I'm the marketing guy, and I say whatever I feel like, and I don't really care. I don't pull punches. We have the best art selling websites that exist on the planet. It's not hyperbole. We've been doing it for a long time, and they're just better than everyone else's. It doesn't matter. Website's worthless. It's a commodity. Get a website wherever the hell you want. Get one in Shopify, get one with us, get one on WordPress, get one on Wix, Squarespace, Weebly, free, whatever. It doesn't matter. They're all commodities. You could have the nicest restaurant in the world, or you could have a busted taco shop with a C sticker in the window. If there's no one in the restaurant, it doesn't matter. It's irrelevant. And that's what everyone has. They've got a website that's a restaurant and no one's in the restaurant. So you're not going to sell any art that way, right? That's not the problem. The problem is the marketing problem, right? And unless you fix the marketing problem, nothing will change. It doesn't matter what website you have and what website you don't. And the problem with making it as an artist or a photographer today is you have to wear all the damn hats. To stick with my restaurant analogy, you are the restaurant owner, okay? You're the chef. You're also the receptionist. You're the maitre d'. You're the bartender. You're the waitress, and you're cleaning the plates. And it's like, if you're doing all that, how the hell are you going to grow the business? How are you? You can't do that. If you're wearing all of those hats, okay, the restaurant is only going to be able to do 2 or 3 tables a night, and that's it, because you just don't have time to do anything else. So the whole goal is to get these various other things off your plate. And from an evolutionary standpoint, this is what we learned during our evolution. It was like, okay, no artist or photographer should ever have to build their own website or deal with their own website, because no one wants to speak GoDaddy or CSS or HTML or JavaScript or anything else. That's not your job. You don't need to be doing that. So boom, we started with the greatest website, and then we stopped letting people build them. We build them for you because I don't want you wasting your time. Print on demand. I have a printer. I love my printer. My printer's great. They do great work. I don't care. It's a waste of your time. Going to the printer, looking at the proof, picking up the print. Is it ready yet? Sending an email, going and getting it, waiting for print. Huge waste of time. Okay? Huge waste of time. POD solves for all of that. It's amazing. Now you have a little bit more time back, right? Our most recent stuff is where we do some portion of the marketing for you. That's, again, taking more time off of your plate. The only thing an artist or photographer should be doing is creating the work and doing the marketing only they can do. That's it. If you're wearing all the rest of those hats, you don't have the time to get there. And the other part of it is, like, being an entrepreneur when you're by yourself, okay, is a damn lonely road. We have our significant others and our mothers to, like, buck us up and keep us going. That's it, right? And so what ends up happening when things get hard, when we're on a downswing of the roller coaster, we quit all marketing for some period of time. Nothing in the business changes. And then some period of time later, months, years, you're like, God, I really want to make this work. What am I going to do differently? And so with everyone else, like, the biggest difference, with everyone else, it's like, all of our competitors, hey, here's your website. It's up and running. Congratulations. We wish you the best. Let us know how it goes. With us, it starts the minute your website gets up, and it never ends. Like, we have Zoom sessions like this, 9 of them, every single solitary week. Every week. 50 weeks a year, aside from whatever New Year's or Christmas that we take off. And throughout that whole time, we're teaching our customers, encouraging our customers. I harass them a little bit. Are you going to be accountable? Are you going to do this? Why did you quit? Are you moving forward? Let's go. Why aren't you running that? So all of these things are important, because unless you have somebody helping you on the journey, the math say you're going to quit. That's it. So in your case, you have this big, beautiful website that you've invested all this time, energy, and effort into that's doing absolutely nothing for you. And you're like, wait a minute, I'm way too much time in that to walk away from that. And you don't have to walk away from that. You could say your website right now is Kim McElroy, and you could do store.kimmcelroy.com, and your store could be your art storefront site, and that's where all that stuff would be. And then your old website would be on the old site. But what I got to ask you is, it's not doing anything for you. You got to let it go.
Well, yeah. I mean, it does.
It doesn't.
I was thinking about that too. I was thinking, well, I do a lot of commission work. I paint horses, so my original website could still be my commission portal, and then my store could be something through you, is what I was thinking.
I've got someone I want you to take a look at. It's funny, Juan, my colleague, and I have worked pretty closely with her. Her name's Carol Walker. She gets in the car, and she's a photographer, and she goes and photographs all the wild horses that are left.
I've heard her work. Yeah.
So we've worked with her really closely on some fun shows and stuff.
Cool.
Yeah. So point is, extremely passionate people in the horse niche. Oh my gosh, like massively so. So it's a very, very good niche. Have you seen a demo yet, Kim?
No, I had a call scheduled, and I wasn't able to connect with the callers at the time, and I haven't heard since.
Don't worry, we'll make sure somebody reaches. Yeah, we'll make sure somebody reaches out again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Thanks.
Thank you.
Okay. Juan, I think next was Kimberly Moore, and then we'll get into Rebecca, Stephen, Rita, John.
Okay, can you hear me?
I sure can.
Okay. One of the things that I've been struggling with, I'm over 60, so I've been doing art for a very, very long time. And before 9/11, I had a pretty good run. I started out making dishes, dinnerware, and I sold a lot in New York.
Okay.
And I was on Macy's, and I was in little boutiques all over Manhattan, and I also did Brownstone in Harlem. And then after 9/11 happened, then nobody was buying anything. And after that, it just seemed like things kind of, quelled down. And so I decided to do painting pictures. I went into a gallery in Manhattan one day, and I saw this woman's work, Kalin. I think I'm saying her name right, Kalin. And she did these wonderful stylized people. And I said, oh, I'm going to paint a picture. And I got up one day and I painted this picture. Now, moving forward, I started with these people, and everybody tells me how beautiful my work is and how wonderful my work is. And I sell pieces here and there.
Just to stop you for a second, your response every time somebody says that, go, oh, that's wonderful. Just to let you know, that piece you're looking at is for sale. It's $800, and I take cash, check, charge, PayPal, Venmo, and crypto. Let's go. Let's go, right? It's one of the things that we teach all the time. It's like when you get those buying questions, you have to turn it into a selling conversation. But anyway, keep going.
Yes, I really would like to. And it's just promises. I can't tell you how many people say, oh, I'm going to get back to you. Or do you have a site? Or do you have this? Or do you have that? And you become very discouraged. So the question that I had for you, and you might have just answered that, is getting the sales past, your work is so beautiful.
Yes. Yes.
What do you just answered, a portion of that question, but how do you get people to click that button?
Yes. Well, the real world example is far more important and impactful than, and I'm trying to get my cell phone up on the screen right now, so I'm kind of looking down. So I've got a podcast, and I've recorded an episode. I'm doing this little song and dance to get my cell phone up on the screen so I can show you guys. Called just this: how to turn buying questions into selling conversations. Okay, and I believe this to be a fundamental artist business muscle, and no different than doing push-ups for the first time when you haven't done it in a long time. Like, you try and you can only do like 1 or 2 or whatever, and then you try again, you get it up to 10, and then you train a little bit more, and all of a sudden you're doing 50, and then it's like Top Gun, you can do like 101 sitting or whatever, right? So the nature of the question. Your work is so beautiful. This is amazing. You should start a business. You should try to sell these. Oh my gosh, this work reminds me of this, that, and the other. And it's incumbent upon you at that moment in time to turn it into a buying conversation. Say, thank you so much for that compliment. Just to let you know, it's for sale. Which one are you interested in? And then shut up, awkward silence, right? Thank you so much. Everything's on my website, good to go. Is there one that I can ship you? Right? Like, you have to get good at it, right? But in the art of social media, like, it becomes even more important, because what happens is that once you start getting good at it, you'll post something and you'll get like, on one post, you'll get like 20 comments. And it's like, guess what? You got to go into those 20 comments and do the hand-to-hand. Oh, wonderful. Because otherwise you don't know. You don't know if these people are just being decent or if they're genuinely interested in your work. So what I was going to do is I was going to show this. So this is what the podcast is called. It's called the Art Marketing Podcast. It's totally free. It's on Apple Podcasts. It's on Spotify. It's anywhere you find a podcast. And the episode is quite literally number, almost here, hold on, 57, how to turn buying questions into selling conversations. I spend like 30 minutes on it and go super in depth. I want you to listen to that. Juan, can you see if you can get a link directly to that one? That individual episode, just so people can find it. If you listen to that one, trust me, you'll be like, okay, I got the game plan. I know exactly what I got to do. And then you'll start doing it.
Okay. All right. Because I really do. I mean, I do. And my work is quite unusual because it's not just straight painting. It's what they call trade digital art, I guess. So I take a traditional painting and then I add digital elements to it.
Awesome.
And they're really prints after that. and I can maneuver them. I can change them. I can change the colors. I can do all kinds of different things with them. And that's what makes them so unique and fun. And I really would like, to get my work out there more. I mean, I've joined up with this place called artboxy.com. Have you heard of them?
No, I sure haven't. But that doesn't surprise me. There's like a million things out there today's day and age, for sure.
Okay, well, artboxy.com, it's a company that's over in Europe, and they put your work in galleries over there.
Yeah.
On screens, and they send you your pictures, on the screen in the galleries, and hopefully somebody will see something that they like over there.
There's absolutely no one that's gonna magically discover you and start selling your work for you. I hate that. I hate that thought. It's like so many, you guys get preyed upon as a result of that. In fact, one of the videos that I love playing, and let me just find it for you guys because it's so important. There's nothing more infuriating because of how good they are when like an actress starts taking an active role in social media. And I saved this clip from her account because it's just so good. But this is what we operate under.
I just got a call from somebody, and this is a piece of advice that really helped me, so I hope it helps you. Do not wait around for the phone to ring for someone to make your dreams happen. You have to do something literally every single day to push your dreams forward. No one is thinking about what you want to do or how you want to do it or what the mark in the world that you want to make is. That's up to you. So you have to actually do something to make it happen. And you can do it. And you're going to do it today.
Or how do I stop it? I can barely get my mouse on it. But the takeaway I have is like, I've talked to thousands and thousands and thousands of artists, and any time that there is some sort of service or some sort of anything where they're going to magically grab your art and sell it for you, it just doesn't work. It doesn't work because it doesn't happen in the real world. Like, everyone's put their art up to a marketplace. How's it worked out? Take your pick: Etsy, Fine Art America, Saatchi. Everyone will tell you, oh yeah, I sold like a couple $100, or I sold one piece. Like, it just doesn't work. You have to promote yourself if you want it to go somewhere. So I don't want you reliant on that, right? Like you got to do the work.
Yeah. Well, that's why I came to you guys, because I was like,
yeah,
if this doesn't work, then I just throw in the towel.
Yeah, but you won't throw in the towel. You'll be back, because that is how it works. You can't turn off the artistic gift, right?
All right.
You should get a demo too, though, and you see all of our offerings and see what you think.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you. Yeah. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you. All right. Next up is Rebecca, then Steven, then Rita. So go ahead, Rebecca.
Yeah, can you hear me?
I sure can.
Hi. So
Hi.
I just was wondering, I've been at this for, a long time, it feels like. I know compared to some other people, probably not, but being consistent on like showing up every day, like we've been talking about, showing up on social media, sharing your work, sharing your process. I've really kind of dedicated myself to that, and it's gone well. I just feel like I'm attracting other artists mostly. And how do I, like you mentioned, the collectors and how valuable they are. I feel like I'm at a loss as far as finding them in the weeds of the marketing that I've been doing, which is mostly Instagram is my primary spot. Even if everyone talks about finding a following, and that's how you'll find your buyers and stuff, but I have not been able to have any consistent sales, even with getting to the point of like 40,000 followers. You're looking at your insights and you're like, are these just other followers or other artists who kind of like my work, or or are they just people who kind of want to watch but they aren't interested in purchasing? And I have a Shopify. I try to point everybody over there. I guess I'm trying to figure out, as art storefronts, like, what is different about you guys? What's going to be like, how are you guys going to help me attract those like valuable collectors that we mentioned?
Yeah, so number one, like, the sad thing about social media in general, like, artists just follow artists. I don't know why they do it, but they just do it. By the way, Juan sent me your website, and the Instagram link at the bottom of your footer doesn't work. You got to fix that. It should go directly to your Instagram. What's your Instagram handle, though?
Sunshine and Laurel Art.
It's in the chat for you, Bet, as well.
Okay, perfect. Let me just pull that. Thanks, Juan. All right, let me get this out of the way. I might as well just share screen and look at this. So hold on.
Are you on a computer? Just because I'm curious. I've had a couple people tell me that, but then a couple I've troubleshooted it and then it worked. So I don't know what the setup is.
I am. I'm on a computer, and we could look. I could look at it afterwards and figure out what's doing it. So, okay, 937 posts, 39,000 followers. Amazing acrylic landscape artist based in Colorado. Eye-catching landscape art for your home. Follow along on my art journey. Art for sale on my website. All for his glory. Okay, so. Just to start out with, because I'm going through this. All for his glory, I love, because you're giving us a little window into what makes you tick, right? But I love a little something that I can learn about you in the bio, right? So you're a believer. You gave me a little bit there. I like a little pomp, like all for his glory, and I love puppies, right? Like give us a little something that's like a window into you, and it seems like a small thing, but it's important. Okay.
I like that.
Okay, now is where I'm going to have to get brutal with you for a second, okay? And it's not just you. It's not just you. It's just about everybody, okay? Here we are on the most important social network that exists right now for selling art and photography. You don't have it working yet, but you're well on your way, and I love that you have 39,000 followers. So what this essentially is your art gallery, okay, in the most important mall period. And what is the link that we see below Rebecca's name? A link to a defunct, stupid Twitter copy website called Threads that no one is using, okay, or spending any time on, and that no one has ever sold any art. So essentially what this is the minute I just walked into Rebecca's gallery, somebody comes walking right up and says, "Hey, Patrick, can I help you? By the way, go check me out on this website. Leave the gallery. Leave the gallery." Get rid of that stupid thing. God, I hate Mark
I've been
Zuckerberg.
debating that,
Just get rid of it.
Okay.
It is an exit sign on your most important site. Okay, I don't like it. All right.
Do you think our Instagram feed though is supposed to be our gallery? Because I've always thought of my gallery as my website.
No, I mean I use it like more broadly, but we'll see how this goes. One, I love that you have story highlights. I could go through all of these, except they don't really work on the web version. Okay, so you've got your art in here. You've got plenty of you in here. Different perspectives, different angles. Yeah, you're doing a good job on here, right? Like, I mean, the question is why have 39,000 people decided to follow you, right? And you're making reels too. So when you feel nervous about stepping outside of your comfort zone, it feels like because you're unfamiliar and capable. Doing the reveals, the all too popular reveals. So what are you telling me, that none of this art is selling, that all of it is piling up somewhere in your studio and just none of it is moving?
Yeah, exactly. I have a Shopify linked to it. So I actually get pretty good traction from Instagram to my website. It's the converting them to sales, or even if it's just like who's going to my website, it could just be other artists who like my work or want to see what I'm doing, what my website looks like. But I'm like, where are the buyers? I don't know. I feel like every time I do a online thing like this, people are like, yeah, you really got to show up and market yourself. But even when you find people, which I feel like, I mean, 40,000 isn't insane, but I feel like it's like
we've spent millions of dollars on Facebook and Instagram ads, and we only have 60,000. 40,000 is great. But you know what? You know what I found, which is crazy, is like, and I say this all the time. I said it on a phone call earlier today. I'm gonna not use names to not implicate anybody, but we have someone on our platform that has 1.3 million followers on Instagram. This person does a post, and like the comments are almost like Kardashian level. Okay. Then we have another gal that has 4,500 followers on Instagram, and she outsells him 50-1. So it's not about necessarily the size. Now, yeah, it's about the connection. There's obviously a huge disconnect. So are you attempting to sell art any other way aside from online? Have you done any in person?
The art markets, like I try to do at least 4 a year.
So how okay, well, let's stop there. How do those go?
Good. Yeah, they go really well. I really enjoy them. And
you really enjoy them, or you're selling well at those?
Yes, I sell well and I enjoy them. But they just having people see something in person, I think there's value to that. Like that's 100%. Why I'm like, how do we sell online when somebody can't look at the painting and have that in front of them? Is it, I don't know.
Lots of different ways. And like you just summed up everything that I always say, right? Like, what is the best way to sell art? In person, face to face, always has been, always will be. That's okay, right?
Yeah.
Do you know what the next best way is? Oh, are you interested in a piece? Let's jump on a Zoom call so I can show you some. And then you're on Zoom and you're holding up the pieces and discussing them. I've got like a cord wrapped around my head and talking about them and showing them that they're 3D, right? So,
yeah,
you can do that. Like, one of the dirty little secrets is like, I mean, I harangue my customers about this all the time, right? All the time. They're like, an older person wanted to buy something from me and they're just not computer sophisticated and the website's not working. What do I do? I'm like, what do? Pick up the phone and call them. Face to face is the best thing that we can do in this world. Don't try to shove everything off on a digital experience, right? So I would do more of that. I think there's a disconnect with what's going on your website. I mean, are you not getting DMs every single solitary day saying, hey, what's going on with that piece? I'm interested.
No. That's what I respond to all my comments.
Mm-hmm.
I try, if somebody asks about something, I jump on it. I send them I obviously haven't done that. Like, let's Zoom. That's a good idea.
Yeah.
But I'm just surprised. I think like people like my stuff because I use humor. I use just comedy stuff of every artist understands. So I do understand why artists follow me, but I also share a ton of just my actual pieces. So, and interior design, kind of honing in on that side of things as far as topics go. So I'm trying to speak to both audiences, and I'm guessing I'm just having one audience, which is artists who aren't.
Yeah, it could be, but you've managed to attract that level of attention. People are clearly interested in the creative vibe that you're putting out. So there's a disconnect going on somewhere that we need to get to the bottom of. Have you ever run a live art show? Have you ever gone live on Instagram?
Yeah, I've gone live, but it's been more I'm working on this. Here's the process or something. I've never done a specific art show. You mean setting up the work in your own walls?
So what I want you to do, this week before Friday, start promoting. You are going to have a live art show. Don't worry, I already have a guide for this whole thing. Juan will find it and put it in the chat. And I want you to turn the camera on Instagram and start showing the pieces and saying, are you married?
Yes.
What I love to say is my significant other has given me to the weekend to get some of this art out of our house or they're going to kill me. So I am having what is called, it's funny because we crushed it, you guys. We hit it so hard with these things during COVID. I mean, between myself and Juan, who's on this call with me, I'm not kidding when I say we have run, I don't even know, hundreds of live art shows at this point. So I'm searching right now online and I'll show you guys one. Hundreds of these, right? And they work so well because one, you're letting everyone know that hey, I've got art for sale. It's going to be for sale right now. It works in any capacity that you run one of these ever under any circumstances, right? And then of course I'm logged into the one account where it's going to show me Google ads. That's so annoying. Anyway, I want to show you this. And when I say this, I didn't mean Dr. Drew running on a trampoline. This ad needs to end. Oh, come on. I have a personal YouTube account, where I pay so I don't have to see the doggone commercials. So let me skip this. Oh, there it is. Good. So here's my buddy, right? And it's funny. It's my background. He's a customer and he's a painter in Quebec in Canada, right? And you see the numbers down there. He's live on Instagram in this case. He's live on Facebook, live at YouTube, all at the same time, right? And he calls this famously his basement sale because where he lives they have basements. I live in California. There's no such thing as basements, earthquakes. So he's just rattling through the pieces and saying, okay, this one's for sale, this one's for sale, this one's for sale. And a technique that you can use, especially early on, is I would normally sell this for such and such, but make me an offer. My DMs are open, and then shut up. Don't say anything else. Make me an offer, okay? And if you have a significant other that can monitor your Instagram while this is going down, they can be on the desktop version, you know what I mean? Looking at your inbox. They could say oh, Rebecca, so-and-so is interested in number 13, right? And you could say, okay, great, I'll take it, done, right? And then that one is sold. But it's a fantastic way to see whether or not you can move the art. Just to show this, during COVID, he also had my buddy here, he had a show in an actual art gallery. And the minute, the day after the show, went right in there with Instagram. And I was like, well, run the live art show on Instagram and on Facebook. Let's go. Boom. Right. And the reason it's more impactful for you than it would be for others is because if you go live right now on Instagram, you're probably going to be talking to with 40,000 followers, you're probably going to be talking to like 20 to 30 people sustained. That's impressive. Most people can't do that, right? So I would run a live art show immediately. I want you to look at the quick start guide that's in the chat, and you need to get a demo. I will have somebody contact you. You don't even need to fill out the form. I'll have somebody contact you.
That is brilliant. I've never thought of doing that. Thank you for that advice and suggestion.
Yeah, and you know how easy it is to go live on Instagram.
Oh yeah, you just click. I actually, before you go, how do you do it on both though, like Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube? Is there? I guess in the
there's software. There's software, yeah.
Okay.
And it's super inexpensive too. But it really only matters if you have decent following on those other places. Notwithstanding
I'm just starting on YouTube Shorts, so no, I guess I just do it on Instagram.
Yeah, just do it on Instagram because you have a ton of followers. It's funny too because everyone's always like, I hate Facebook, I hate this, I hate that. And I talk about this all the time. I was talking about this on a morning meeting, not to go too down the rabbit hole, but when I started, with streaming, and quite frankly, allow me to toot my own horn while I toot my own damn horn. I was a pioneer in these live art shows, okay? Like, everyone talks about how, like, in China and Korea, they've been doing this forever. But, like, right when COVID hit, we're like, oh, my God, how are our customers going to sell our art? This is terrifying. So it used to be back in the day, when I would do this, I would get way more people on Facebook watching. And then the pendulum swung. And now you go on Facebook and I get like, we have like 80,000 people on the Art Storefronts account, and I'll get like 3 or 4 people. Like if I'm going to go live right now, and just if nobody's seen this, I might as well share the screen because it'll. I know this is a little bit hard to see. Hold on, I just want to show you, but it's like you don't even need to overthink it, Rebecca. Like you could do this right now today, okay? And just to show you guys how easy this is. So up at the very top, I'm going to press the little plus button, okay? On here is going to be live. You can see I can add a title or not add a title, okay? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to press this button here. What's up, Instagram? So I am showing my friend Rebecca just how easy it is to have a flash sale on Instagram, okay? She could do this right now today, the minute she gets out of this Zoom call, and she could go onto Instagram and be like, all right, Instagram, my husband has told me, or my partner, or significant other, however you guys say it, you kids say it these days, that I need to get some of this art out of the studio. This is the one that I've chosen, okay? I would normally sell this for X. The first one that leaves me a comment or sends me a direct message with an offer gets it. Who wants this beautiful piece of art? In fact, while I'm at it, I'm going to show you another one. And then you can just keep dipping in and dipping in and dipping in. And look, I'm talking to 31 people here right now. How much work did that take? I did that in 2 seconds. Rebecca, you have 40,000 followers on Instagram, which means if I've got 35 sustained, you're going to have 25 people sustained. You could do that right now. I've already seen you have a studio. Thank you, guys. I've already seen you have a studio that you can do it. And what's great is after you do it, you can save it, okay? And then save it, and it goes right into your timeline, and it's a reel, right? Like, that's an incredible high ROI marketing activity, and you could do that right now. I've already looked at your Instagram account. You already have the background. You have the whole thing. So what time can we expect the show this evening? All of us are going to be tuning in. What time works?
Oh my gosh. No, I will do this. I really will.
This is literally the harassment that I have to do with my customers all the time.
I will
exactly right.
I think it through a little bit because I also have kids and I don't know, but I'm definitely going to do this. I don't know why I didn't think of it, but yeah, you're the pioneer and that's a great idea.
Yeah. And include the kids in it if you feel comfortable doing it, right? Like okay. I don't want to, my kids get mine all the time, like annoyingly so.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we will contact you for a demo because you are a great fit and we can help you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Juan, make sure you keep an eye on her profile. If she doesn't do it within the next couple of days, we're going to send her harassing messages. This is literally like, I've had to do this with my customers for like years, you guys, years, where I'm like, did you run the live art show? Yeah. When did you do it? And I get it, right? Because it's terrifying. It's terrifying, right? But guess what? We're all normal humans. None of us are Hollywood actors and no one cares. We all live in normal houses, okay? We all have normal cameras. Just turn the thing on and start talking. Turn the thing on and start talking. You will be blown away by how well it works, okay? Steven, you're up next. Go ahead, Steven.
Hi, Patrick.
Hi.
I must admit I'm a caveman as far as technology goes.
Mm-hmm.
And I heard in your presentation that it sounds to me like art marketing is job number one.
Yes.
I don't know how to do that. I mean,
yeah.
I make art, but I don't necessarily sell art. I mean,
yes.
I sold to family, but not outside of the family.
Right.
What do I do?
That's why we exist. We show you and we teach you how to do it all year long, year after year after year. I don't know what the alternative is, like genuinely, right? Like, if I were in your shoes, you hear what this guy's saying, and he's like, okay, this guy clearly loves technology and probably grew up in it. It's so easy for him. Does he understand? I don't even know how to. I don't have an Instagram account. I don't even know how to turn my phone on. I hate computers, the whole thing. I get all of that, but I don't know what the damn alternative is. It's like, I don't know if you saw the recorded thing up top, but it's like, no one is going to come and grab the art and promote it. You have to do it yourself. And early on, sadly, I would love to say, like, being a successful artist or photographer is a meritocracy on your craft, right? I would love to say that being a successful art or photographer early on is a meritocracy on your craft. It's not, because it's not the best art that gets created that sells. It's the best art that gets seen that sells. Early on, it's a meritocracy on your ability to get attention, And I don't know any other way that you do it. It's like the gallery model is so broken, it's impossible. Thinking that you're going to upload them to marketplaces where they do everything never happens. And it's like you either do the in-person thing or you learn the marketing thing. Now, the good thing about the marketing thing is everyone starts not really liking it and not really understanding how it works and not really knowing how to do it. But bit by bit, you get better at it. And, with reps and sets, and if you have someone teaching you and holding your hand the whole way along, you'll get there, You'll get there, right? Like,
I saw your web download about the 20 must-have free features that on there sell art online. That makes a lot of sense to me. But again, it's like
they're all important, but you still got to get people to the website in the first place so that they can experience the features, right?
Right. It's like, you get people to people's websites, or is that?
We teach you how to do it, and we help a little bit, right? But Stephen, it's like it's no different than what I did with just Rebecca right there, right? Like, she already knows how to do that stuff. But let's assume that she didn't. We all get into Zoom, we sit down together, we walk through how you do the thing, and then we're there to answer any questions. And then we're like, okay, go do the thing. Then afterwards, we come back the next week, we look at it, and you'll look at someone that's exactly your age, that hates technology just as much as you do, right? That did it and got a result, and you're like, damn it, if they did it, I can do it. Let's go. It's like one of the greatest ways to learn it. Like, we're all just suffering through this misery together and figuring out how to get attention. That's what it is.
Well, yeah, I'm 63 years old, and I've been there, done that.
Yeah.
But like, creating artwork is one thing, and marketing has always been something else.
Yeah.
Can I ask how much you charge to hold my hand?
Yeah. So we have a couple of different plans and packages, right? Everyone usually compares us to all the rest of the website service providers out there, and we're rather more than that. Like, yeah, you get a website and all the technology and the bells and whistles, woo! But we're basically a postgraduate university that just teaches art and photography, business and marketing, where there's not any graduates, because we just keep teaching and teaching and teaching. So you're never alone, right? Like I said, there's 9 Zoom sessions like this every single solitary week internally. You go to the ones that you need to go to. You can ask questions. Sometimes they can take over your screen and fix you and get you unstuck on things. Ask any kind of question you want, and we just keep teaching and motivating and encouraging our customers to learn. So what we charge. So we charge a one-time fee to get into the university, and then we just charge a monthly fee on the website, like every other website company. So that's how we charge. But we're definitely more expensive than anyone else is because there's a whole army of people that are going to go towards supporting you for the rest of your art selling life, you know?
Right. I do have a day job, so I do have that to consider, and my other activities I do. So
sure.
I do have a life outside of my art. So
for sure, we all do. I mean, it's, you know, everyone always asks like the crystal ball question, like, well, how many hours a week do I have to devote to this to be successful? And it's never about how many hours a week you have to devote. It's devoting those same hours per week every week for 50 weeks a year for 3 years. No one ever does that, right? When you do that, you actually have a business on your hands. It's actually growing, right? Things are actually moving forward. So yeah, that's kind of how we look at things.
Well, I was fortunate to have a businessman father and an artist mother, I guess.
Yeah, hybrid. I love it.
Yeah, somehow he instilled in me the importance of business, but I didn't necessarily learn the hands-on things how to do it.
Right, and that's okay. You know, it can be learned at any point in time. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I guess. So, what's the next step then?
We'll have somebody reach out and send you an email. You can just respond to that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thanks, Steven. Juan, will you make sure that gets done so I don't drop the ball on that?
Yeah.
Rita, you are up next. Go ahead, Rita. And then we'll get to Adam. And Rita, you'll just need to unmute mic icon, bottom left-hand corner. Usually just, yep, gotcha.
I know. It just was being stupid.
Yeah,
Sorry.
it does that sometimes.
I take pictures. That's my thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been doing it, well, I've done it my whole life. But through COVID, it started where I started posting them on social medias.
Okay.
And that's what I've been doing ever since. And I don't have a big following, but it's funny if I don't post for a day, like last week, I had somebody come back and say, "Hey, I really need a smile. Will you post one of your pictures?" And I'm like, "That's what I do this."
Yeah. That's where you should have been like, "Yes, I will post it, and yes, I would love to see one on your wall. Which one are you interested in?"
Well, he did respond back. He was very grateful that I did. But I've been told to sell them too, and we're in a technology with the internet that everything is saturated.
Yes.
And I guess that's where I'm at right now, is trying to make sure I get into, if I'm going to do this, a credible company that isn't going to just take my money and walk.
Yeah.
Which is so hard to filter through.
And no. Do you know what the difference is?
What's the difference?
When a company tells you that there will be pain, misery, and suffering as you learn all of this stuff, you know you have a real one. It's the ones that say there is a magical formula that are going to have fish jumping in your boat. Learn my 16-step Facebook and Instagram marketing formula. Like, you know, if anyone tells you it's easy, that is when you need to be worried and you need to run. All right?
Nothing in life is easy. I'm 60 years old. I know that.
None of it.
Nothing is.
None of it.
Everybody has to start someplace.
Yes.
And I guess I started someplace with the pictures. Now it's trying to, like I said, being 60. And like you said, it does not come overnight. But my goal is within the next 10 years, okay, I'm not working anymore. Social Security isn't a lot. This is my extra income.
100%. It's not just extra income. It's like it ends up becoming purpose too. You know?
Yes.
Like I alluded to that, I know, in the pre-recorded thing, but it's like one of the things that I've learned in this is, you know, I'm a marketing guy. Okay. Do I like marketing? Yeah, I love it. I enjoy it very much. When I retire, do I want to do any marketing? No. I will probably take up gardening or brewing beer or something. Lord knows I like drinking it. But they're not going to be any more marketing. Okay. With you guys, it never turns off. It never shuts off. And like, what a fantastic thing to have, to like know that you could be like these guys in their 90s showing up. Like, how do I market my art? It's like, it's purpose. It's purpose. That's an amazing thing to know that you have that waiting for you, right? Like, it's incredible. The fact that it doesn't turn off. It's like, I'm sort of envious of it on some level, because you got this thing to work towards. And look, the stats of how long people are living, you could have another 25, 30 years of this. That's insane. That's an insane thing to think about. And don't take that as like, reason to sign up with us necessarily, but take that as like, yes, it actually is worth investing the time, energy, and effort because I've got that much time left to continue going and taking these photos, which I love to do, and then selling them and creating a business out of it. So, that's an incredible thing.
Well, it's for me, it's my zen. It's my relax. I live behind a creek outside of a city, but behind this creek, there's so much wildlife.
Oh, I love it.
And I can take the picture of the creek, spring, summer, fall, winter. It's never the same.
Yeah.
And that, people are like, you got such a gift. And I'm like, I see the picture and I take it.
Yeah.
And I take 1,000 pictures to get that one picture.
Oh, it's how it works.
And there are times I know when I get it, and there's other times I have no clue until I download it, and I'm like, holy crap, that's it.
Got it. Yeah. Yeah. Now we need people buying them.
Yes.
Yes.
And it's I think setting up, I'm computer savvy, not an issue there. I am on multiple social sites.
Very good.
But it's getting my website started.
Yeah.
And getting it out there and getting the market. That's where I need the most help with.
Yeah. We help with all of the above. We'll have somebody reach out.
So that's where I'm at. Thank you.
We can help you. Thanks, Rita. All right. Next up is Adam, and then it's going to go Zoom user, whoever you are, and then John. I got you too. Go ahead.
I will put on my camera. Can people see?
Yep, we got you.
All right. Hi. Thanks for the time. So
yeah, my pleasure.
I've been trying to sell art now for a little over a year.
Okay.
I built a website. It was a lot of fun. Extremely self-indulgent, but I guess that's a little bit fun.
Yeah.
When I first started posting photos on Instagram in the mid 2010s, like 2016, I got up to 1,000 people to follow me in a few months, and it just completely fell apart. Like after TikTok came out, because yes, I haven't done reels and I haven't. I think the algorithms have changed. Right?
Yes, correct.
So I understand there's a lot about how to market myself, but if I don't even have a platform on Instagram where people will see my work, because they don't. I post something, I don't think it gets seen except by a few people who know me. How do I get out there into the ether?
Yeah. That's a great question. I actually get it a lot too. And it's like, when we are marketing on these social media sites, we're on rented land, right? It's rented land. Like there's a new set of rules and everything else. They're exploiting us, and it's our job to exploit as much attention from them as possible, right? And so, for you, you're like, oh man, because you were there in the heyday, things were so good back then, it was awesome, right? And now you've got that in your head, like where you were posting those photos, you were getting followers, it was easy, that was awesome. Now everything's changed, right? You can't worry about that.
Things seemed a little more simple.
Yeah. Oh, 100% it was. 100% it was. It's actually better now than it's ever been, but it's a different. It's a different set of rules, and you have to play by those different set of rules, right? And I imagine if I went to that Instagram profile right now and I gave you the 2 thumb flick test, boom, boom, would I see a single solitary photo of anything other than your art? Is there a photo of you? Is there a photo of what makes you tick? What makes you interesting? Is there a photo of the Egyptian gods in your bookshelf behind you, right? Is there like any of these things that might be indicative of what makes you tick as a human being? Probably not, right? In addition to the fact that, you haven't made any reels and you haven't done anything else. And when you don't give the algorithm what it wants, the algorithm doesn't give you what you want, right? So my guess is that you haven't done any of that. You're definitely not posting consistently. You're not posting consistently every single solitary week. And you're like, you're hung up on what it used to be. It's rented land. We can't get hung up on what it used to be, right? You got to focus on what is today and how best to exploit it. And once you learn that, it's easy, dude. It's for the taking. It's awesome.
So, I mean, those profiles, there's really not a lot of space to put things, right? Yeah, I've worked in education internationally for 12 years. I've traveled to over 100 countries.
That's awesome.
Most of my photos are of these travels. I hope it's stuff that's interesting to people, right?
Yeah.
The new posts are about Saudi Arabia. A lot of Americans probably haven't been or thought about going there very
Yeah,
much.
yeah. Although they have a soccer league now, they certainly are trying to modernize. That's for damn sure.
And they got Lionel Messi to do the marketing for them. I'm sure that wasn't cheap, but
they tried to spend a lot of money to get him, and he said no at the end of the day. But yes, yes, like you have to decide if you want to make it a business and you want to go at it. If you want to go at it, we can help you, and it will 100% work. But you got to do the work like everyone else. That's it.
I mean, I'm definitely not. I don't think people who are on this call are adverse to doing the work, right?
Yeah. Well, they say they're not adverse to doing the work, right? But they wouldn't be here if they weren't adverse to doing the work, because they would have done the work and gotten there, right? Like
seen the movie Magnolia?
No, but I've heard of it, right? It's based on a book.
I don't know if it's based on a book. It was. I don't think it is. It was a weird vignette movie. I don't want to waste people's time.
Wait, Cameron Diaz, Tom Cruise, is it that one?
Tom Cruise is in it. There's no Cameron Diaz.
Okay, I vaguely remember. But yeah.
There was a line where William H. Macy says, "I have so much love to give, but I have no idea where to put it." And I feel like as artists, right, we have so much passion and we have so much of our art that we want to give, right? Mm-hmm. But I guess I shouldn't presume to speak for other people, but for me, it was that I really need to learn where to put it so it's seen.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
we can help you. We can help you.
All right, like a guide to Instagram, like how to make social media actually like helpful.
Yes. If I get through the questions, I can tell you, but it's regular and consistent posting. It's posting 50-50, 50% about your art, 50% about you, what makes you interesting, what makes you tick. Like I've said this before, and then telling some of the stories that went into how you acquired those images. If you started doing that regularly and consistently, and you wrote the mental check that you were going to do that starting today, and you're not even going to look at your stats until today, 2025, you'd have a business on your hands.
All right, thanks.
Are you going to do it though?
It's something that I want to do, right? Like it's the dream of people to be self-employed.
Yeah.
If art can pay for travels, right? I love to travel. I love to see new places. And we had another travel photographer here. Mm-hmm. If the photography can pay for the travel, I would call that living the dream, right?
Yeah. I would quit my job and be right there with you. But yeah, 100%. Like, of course that's the dream. But, it's like anything else. It's not it's a fairy tale until you make it happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
Yeah. It's super interesting bookshelf background there. You got it going on there.
Thanks.
I'm sure he's acquired some things on his travels. Okay. Zoom user, you're up next. I don't know what to call you because your name is Zoom user, so you'll have to tell me.
Anne-Marie Clow. How you doing?
Good. How you doing, Anne-Marie?
Well, I have to say, believe it or not, I don't know how you found me to send me the email because I just clicked on it because it had the word art in it. And I have to give you so much credit, and I am just in awe. Like no, everything you said, it is so unbelievable. I wish I heard about you a long time ago.
Oh,
like
this
is just clicking on this. You're very good, and I think you talk from the heart, and I think that you're authentic, and I think any artist would be extremely lucky to have you market them or help them market them. I have been an artist, a visual artist, for 48 years, and you're going to say, "Oh, she doesn't look that old," but yeah. And a photographer as well.
Okay.
And very successful. I used to do 48 exhibitions a year.
Amazing.
I'm from Prince Edward Island, Canada, which is a little tiny place. And I did the art lessons. I did all the marketing, and now we're into a totally different realm. And I think that's where you're going to fit in, because I have been Facebook. I have done basically the same thing as you've been saying to do. I post pictures of my art, my photography. I have my own personal, zap that I put on my artwork and why I created it. But I find that it's almost the same people on Facebook.
Yep.
Where I've been doing it for 48 years, I'm finding I need a new niche. And I don't know, and I'm so not into this new way of marketing, which you just mentioned. That's why I'm in awe. I mean, these things that you're mentioning, like live Zooming and anyway, it doesn't take much to get me in awe and not be able to have a lot to say, but you're just awesome. That's all I can say.
Well, I really appreciate you saying that. I think what I do differently is like I don't sugarcoat things, right? Like I get pissed off at people that sugarcoat things because there's nothing good comes easy in life, like at all, right? Like every time I say like sign up for Art Storefronts today, you will suffer for 3 to 5 years as we teach you how to market, which you don't want to do in the first place, right? There'll be weekly. Everyone's like, dude, can you dial it down a little bit? And I'm like, no, I don't want to dial it down a little bit because I want people coming in saying like, I'm ready to do this. I'm going to put in the work to make this happen. Like, I want my dream to be a reality and I'm willing to work hard, right? Like, you don't tell someone that's trying to climb Everest, like, oh, don't worry about it. It's like 35 steps and you're to the top of the summit. Like, no. Like, you have to have it in your mind of what you need to do to get there and be successful. And I'm not kidding. I talk to thousands and thousands of artists, every single solitary year, let alone my own customers. And the motivation and the encouragement and the accountability is the whole ballgame. The rest of it doesn't even matter. It's like that's all it is. Just making sure that you guys keep working on promoting yourselves, which, no one's good at. No one knows how to do it. It doesn't come naturally. It's like a unicorn artist that's really good at marketing themselves and creating marketable work. Almost doesn't happen. It's like totally unicorn.
I think what you need to do, all artists need to do, is remarket themselves and realize that today is only today, but tomorrow you're going to have to do something different, maybe that other artists aren't doing. Remarketing is what I'm going to have to do because what I did before is not working now. I have a storage room full of artwork. But I know that I need to resume my life to be in the game. And I guess that's what you call it. So I'm going to have to learn that from people like you.
You got to learn the new stuff. But you know what? It's a beautiful thing because you learn it and you start putting in the work. And already you're better than 98% of the rest of the artists that do it for a week and then quit.
So I have some other questions, but I was wondering if you or somebody could send me information so I can ask more questions because I don't want to take all the time because there's other people that want to ask you questions and as well as you've got a lot more knowledge to share. Like I said, I don't know how you found me.
Because I'm really good at marketing. I've been doing it a long time. I know. I found all of you.
And you're very good at that, having the art in such in a profound way because I get spam, I get all sorts of other stuff, and I clicked on to you, and everything's meant to be, which I really believe. So at the right time and place.
We'll email you some follow-up material that'll help you get connected and kind of learn everything that we do.
Okay. And thank you for offering this to us artists. And I love the artwork in the background. I don't know who did it, if that's yours.
Oh, he's so legit. No, it's this guy, Matthew Laka. Artist from Quebec, and he's just like crazy talented. It takes each one of these pieces takes like 3 to 4 months to dry because he puts so much impasto like on top of him. But mega talented artist, good and a good friend. He's been a customer for like I don't know, maybe 7 or 8 years. Put his link in the chat, will you want? Maybe do his Instagram or something so everyone can see it. Super legit, dude. But thank you, and I'll follow up with you. I promise.
Thank you.
Okay.
Take care. Thank you.
Yeah, and thank you for the kind words. I love the compliments. All right, John, you're up. John's like, finally, I've been sitting in my car waiting. Oh, you had the video on. You just keep playing with the buttons, John. You got to get the audio one. I know it's a little bit harder on the cell phone sometimes. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I gotcha.
I've been, I don't know, a lot of the things you said resonated with me. I've been doing this on and off, so like attempting to break through in art for years. something doesn't work. I break. I mean, years. I take a break, and then, like you said, it's something in you, and you can't stop.
Yeah, can't turn it off. Can't turn it off.
Yeah, what's that?
Can't turn it off.
No, you can't. You really can't. I mean, I've been a chef, and I got into cooking after high school for all the wrong reasons, but I made the best of it. You know what I mean? And I found the art in it. But, I'm 45 years old, and I've done everything that I want to do in this business. And the actual creating of art has really been my passion. Like, I've been drawing since I can't remember a time in my life, past infancy, where I wasn't creating something. In school, like, I was recognized as gifted. I used to win all kinds of awards. After high school, I got scholarships and grants, but I got kicked out of my home when I was a kid. I had a troubled home, and I was homeless, and
you got a
I
story.
just didn't go to art. I didn't go to art school. But now I'm 45, and I lost everything this past year. I'm actually living in my car.
Oh, man.
I'm outside of the
that.
gym. I'm outside of the gym using their Wi-Fi. I shower at the gym every day. I do have a day job. I cook still. And actually I'm in the best health of my life, because I had to get a gym membership to shower every day. And I was like, well, shit, I might as well work out while I'm here. And
love it. You gotta have the positive attitude with it. That's amazing.
Yeah, no, I do. I lost everything this past year. I literally lost everything, and I was like, I got to do something. I mean, prior to this, I was working 2 to 3 jobs, 80 hours a week cooking. I'm divorced. My kids have medical problems. All my money goes to them. And I'm kind of doing this kind of like some, I don't know what you want to call it, like Eminem, 8 Mile, Rocky Balboa thing.
Yeah.
Just to say, like, my back was against the wall. I pushed through and I survived. I mean, honestly, that's where I'm at. Like, I got a website, and I have no formal training. I'm throwing everything on this website. I mean, I draw at Dunkin' Donuts. There's a Cumberland Farms that's open 24 hours. If I can't sleep, they let me draw at Cumberland Farms. They're really nice people. I'm putting out a lot of quantity of work. I mean, I'm not a businessman. I'm not business savvy.
Are you selling any of it?
Well, here's the thing. I'm working on a comic book. Like I told you, I'm doing everything.
Yeah.
I'm working on a graphic novel that's kind of autobiographical. I submit it to literary agents every day. I actually, the first day I submitted it, and you always hear stories about people getting hundreds of rejections.
Oh, yeah.
The day after I submitted it, a New York literary agent expressed interest, said the art is amazing. I love the line work, had me make some changes. I was like, oh, and you were saying, like, don't wait for this lottery moment, make things happen. Like, I kind of need the lottery moment, as crazy as that sounds at this point. But the guy expressed interest. I made the changes that he wanted to, but then he ultimately passed. And now I'm the guy that's getting all the rejections every day. And I was so close. And I was like, I'm going to get into dance. I'm going to turn my life around. But instead of looking at it as a failure, I saw it as a setback, and just, I got to keep pushing forward. I really, at this point, I can't let anything derail me. I mean, I'm like most artists, like, I'm not really confident in what I do. I think a lot of artists are insecure, and we need that validation.
For sure.
And I mean, really that validation, it's hard because I feel like we live in a narcissistic society, and I don't have any social media. I think all that stuff is horseshit. I mean, I had social media. I had a Facebook and an Instagram. I was making reels. I was this close to getting paid per click, but I was with this woman, and I don't think I'm that handsome of a guy, but I used to get propositioned all the time. Like, ooh, a guy that can draw and can cook. She got jealous and freaked out and made me get rid of all that stuff.
Social media can end up derailing you if you're not careful.
And believe me, I love this woman. If you go on my website, you'll see tons of pictures of her. I mean, we're separated. I've got her name tattooed on my heart. Like, I would do anything to get back with her. Like, it's just Patrick, this past year has been an absolute nightmare. I mean, I'm what they call, like, when I'm on the treadmill at the gym, I research marketing, the 5 Ps. That I'm always learning. Like, I can't turn it off. It's hard.
Yeah,
like,
I think you got to focus. You're in your car right now, right? You're doing the gym thing, so you got to focus on revenue and income now, right? So the fact that you got the graphic novel,
dark. You probably can't see me.
No, it's all good.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Let
me turn the light on.
You got the graphic novel approved, right? That is crazy interesting because that just never happens. The rejection, especially in books, is like so high. But books is also a really long path to revenue. Like it takes a long time to make any money on a book, and I would say the odds on books are even worse than they are like art, right? Now, the fact that you got approved already tells me like I would still spend some margin time getting that thing approved, right? But in the meantime, you got to start selling art immediately, right? So,
well, there's a gallery in Northampton. I'm in Connecticut right now. The weirdest shit. I'm kind of treating this whole experience as a journey. It sounds like a wackadoo kind of thing, but like a shaman journey.
No, you like the fact that you have a positive attitude, with all of this is great, dude. That's fantastic.
I mean, some of the weirdest things have happened to me. Like I was sitting at Dunkin' Donuts. I mean, apartments. I mean, it's ridiculous. But anyway, there's a lady talking about apartments with another guy sitting next to me, and I was like, oh, hey, I didn't tell her I'm embarrassed to tell you I'm homeless. I inquired about apartments. Of course, they were ridiculous because the cost of rents these days it's asinine.
Yeah, it's insane.
But her son owned a gallery in Northampton, and she was like looking at the stuff I was working at Dunkin' Donuts. She's like, oh, she'd be interested. So he bought some of my stuff just the other day.
Boom.
I mean, I had business cards made up. There's a guy in California that saw my website. And he's an older fella, and it's his dream to get published in the New Yorker. He sends me a gag a week and pays me $100 for the gag to cartoon it, whether it gets published or not. I mean, we've gotten 30 rejections from the New Yorker. Like, I'm really trying for that big moment, but I hear what you're saying about generating revenue at the moment.
You got revenue now. You got kids, and you got to get out of the car. So we need immediate revenue, right?
I leave my business cards at tattoo shops. I leave them anywhere I can. I don't know, man. Like, but I realize that it's like
share your website in the chat, and what I'll do is I'll take a look at it for you, and I'll send you some thoughts, some follow-up thoughts. Can you put it?
How do I share it? Do I tell you or?
Just tell me what it is, and I'll see if I can pull it up. What is it?
It's chefjohnmcdowellart.com.
Chef John McDowell
Art. Unfortunately, there's already a John McDowell that does art, so that was the best I could do. I don't know.
Don't fear the Reaper. Don't fear the Reaper. This is you.
It's more of a blog kind of thing, yeah.
Yeah. All right, I will check it out, and I'll send you some thoughts. But keep grinding, and I love that you have the positive attitude.
Yeah, no, I mean at this point, I mean really, it's to quote the Clash or something, "Death or glory." Like, I mean. There's really no turning back now. You know what I mean?
There's never been any turning back. That's just life, right? Yeah. But yeah, you have some cool stuff on here for sure. Contemplate social media again. It's important.
Man, I can't do. And you know what? I friggin', I was on social media. I think somebody else said it too. Most of the time on social media, it's just other people that draw. I mean, I don't. You know what I mean? Like. And plus with my website, I mean, I guess I'm doing more of a grassroots. I mean, people made it before social media. I mean, social media, I don't think it's the end all be all.
Oh, it's definitely, it's definitely not the end all be all. Like,
I mean, people were successful artists before Instagram, but I mean, the thing, I mean, I've had websites before. I taught myself HTML. Like, the thing about that is people go to the social media. They're like, well, why do I have to go to the website then? So then the social media, and I heard what you said about using them the way they use you.
Yeah, exactly. At the end of the day,
yeah,
we're fishermen, you and I both, right? We have to catch fish. So that means when we get down to the docks in the morning, you jump in your boat and I jump in my boat, and you know where we're going to drive those boats? To where the fish are.
Yeah, no, I know.
That
makes sense.
That's it, right? Like I could care less whose site it is, who has it, who owns it, for whatever reason. My job is to get in that boat and go and catch some fish, feed my family. That's it, right? So
for sure, believe me, I want to show my family that their dad's got balls and's not afraid to back down. You know what I mean?
I love it. But I'll send you, John. I'm not to cut you off, but I'm running out of gas and it's the end of the thing.
I'm sorry.
I'm gonna look. No, don't worry. I'm gonna look at your website and I'm gonna send you some thoughts. Okay. Contemplate social media, dude. It's just the fish. Or drive the boat to where. Think about it. Okay. Appreciate you, brother. Appreciate you being raw and having a great attitude about it too. Because you start telling that story on social media, you would be blown away how many people would resonate with it. Because, dude, we all got crap in our lives, dude. We all do. We all do. I can't hear you anymore. I muted you because literally I'm gonna fall down and run out of steam. But I'll check your site out, and I shared it in the chat too. The cartoons look very cool too, by the way. Okay, Mary, you were the last question for today. Till I lose my voice.
Hi, Patrick.
Hi.
I'm Mary. I'm in California, Sacramento, nice. Actually.
Nice.
I started doing some photography, and then my camera got stolen.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, I sent it out to get it fixed because it had a little problem with taking pictures, and it got stolen out of the P.O. box.
Oh, that's terrible.
At the post office.
Yeah, that's terrible.
That I rented. So since then, I had to leave my apartment. I ended up being a truck driver, and I've been to places in OTR. I'm OTR CDL, and I started at 61. I'm 64 now.
Okay.
I lost my sister in between, so it took me about 2 years, and I'm not driving right now. I'm trying to figure out where I can do my artistry. I've always painted, but I'm not really into it.
Okay.
I'm not into painting. I like photography better. And I just got a small camera, and then I use my phone and I take pictures, but I haven't really got into that area of business with art because I don't know the legalities. I don't know the tax breaks of it. I don't know how I can become an artist. And what I do, I cook. I've been cooking since I was a kid, and I take a lot of pictures of my food. I like posting them like on my TikTok, and I like posting them on my Instagram, and I post them on Facebook. And like I told my my doctor, I am a social media whore.
Yeah, well, the good news is
I love social media.
The good news is you're not afraid to use it, and you've figured out how to do TikTok and everything else. But now we have to figure out how to make it pay our bills. Otherwise, it's just a hobby, right?
Well, yeah, it is a hobby, and I would like it to become like a legit. And so, I've thought about doing a cookbook with just pictures of my food. And unfortunately, I lost my camera when I went to Utah. I lost my phone, and I had like 6,000 photos on it, and popped out of my pocket and didn't return. The guy who had it didn't want to return it. So I lost a lot of pictures on that. But thankfully, I did save my pictures on my Facebook. So I do have pictures on my Facebook. And then
there we go. So being that you love social media, here's the advice. Go to Facebook, post on it right now, and go, all right, guys, I am going to make a book featuring my photographs of my food. Would you buy it? Yes or no? Go post that right now and see what happens. Post it on TikTok too. And then if you get good feedback.
On Facebook?
Yep. And if you get good feedback, make it, Mary. Make the book, right?
Okay.
And come to a future session. I've got to mute everyone because my kids are at home. My wife is yelling at me, and I'm out of gas. I appreciate all of you guys. Okay. I will send follow-up emails. It'll have all the resources. Chef John, I will give you some love. I'm gonna check that site out. I'll give you some feedback. You guys, thanks all for hanging out, spending time with me. I hope you learned something. I hope you found it valuable, and hope to see you on a future session. Thanks, everybody.